Making sales social means to me like having conversations and building relationships. Because I've noticed this trend, especially in online business, where they're like, oh, don't have sales conversations. You don't need to have sales conversations. They can watch a webinar and then buy. And then I'm like, well, that takes all the humanity out of it. And if it's a high ticket purchase, like I want to talk to an actual human being and make a human connection. So to me, sales should be social.
Welcome to the Making Sales Social podcast, featuring the top voices in sales, marketing, and business. Join Bryn Tillman and me, Bob Woods, as we each bring you the best tips and strategies our guests are teaching their clients, so you can leverage them for your own virtual and social selling. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Making Sales Social. I'm Bryn Tillman, and I am here with Michelle Mazur. She is a messaging expert who works with brilliant business owners. So if you're not brilliant, you got to be brilliant. But she's working with these business owners who are shaking things up, but they're having trouble talking about it, articulating it. So she combines the tools of successful social movements with the qualitative research. See, I've passed the third grade, I promise. Research she earned in her communications PhD. Oh, she's Dr. Mazur, to help them craft their powerful, captivating message. She's the author of The 3-Word Rebellion and the host of the Rebel Uprising podcast. And I have been listening to Michelle on audiobook, and when I work out, I listen, and I have worked so hard. I'm at 4-word rebellion, and I can't get it down to 3, but I'm working on it.
4 is perfectly acceptable. It's in that range of 2 to 5 words. So
awesome. Well, I'm so excited that you're here. We met through just other fabulous women, brilliant business owners, and I just was so excited to bring you on the podcast because I think you bring incredible value, and I'm so excited to start to talk to you. I'm going to start with the 3-word rebellion. You know, again, I've been working on this, and it's amazing how hard it is. I forget who was a president. Maybe it was Ben Franklin, not a president. Always, people think who said, "I would have written you a shorter letter, but I didn't have the time."
Yeah, Mark Twain has a similar quotation.
Mark Twain.
Yeah, he talks about if you want a 2-hour speech, I'm ready right now. If you want a 5-minute speech, I'll be ready in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I love that. So we're going to dive into that. But before I ask you the 3-word rebellion questions, we ask all of our guests, what does making sales social mean to you?
Making sales social means to me like having conversations and building relationships. Because I've noticed this trend, especially in online business, where they're like, oh, don't have sales conversations. You don't need to have sales conversations. They can watch a webinar and then buy. And then I'm like, well, that takes all the humanity out of it. And if it's a high ticket purchase, like I want to talk to an actual human being and make a human connection. So to me, sales should be social. They should be relationship based and conversation driven instead of being like, oh, no, just watch this webinar and give me all your money.
I am in 100% agreement with you on that. I think it's an art and a science. The bottom line is it needs to be human. So I love that. All right, so let's jump into the 3-word rebellion. Let's first tell us a little bit about what that is, and then how do you find yours?
Yeah, so the 3-word rebellion is this idea that I came upon when I was kind of in this huge business transition. So I'd been working with speakers for many years, and I realized that I didn't love the speaking industry. I didn't love how it treated speakers, how it doesn't want to pay speakers. And I also noticed that my clients were using the speeches that we were creating in different ways. They'd show up in the copy on their website, or they would turn it into a 3-part video series. And I was like, wow, my work has a bigger application. I'm
Mhm.
like, I wonder what that could be. And then I noticed all of the social movements that were happening back in 2016, whether it was like Black Lives Matter or Me Too or Make America Great Again, like all of these social movements were rising up. And I found this curious connection between these social movements and what some of my favorite entrepreneurs were doing, like Simon Sinek and Start With Why, Mel Robbins and the 5 second rule, Marie Forleo, everything's figure outable. And I was like, this is really interesting. Both of these groups have this short, memorable, curiosity provoking message. And I was like, I wonder if I took social movement questions and let my clients just empty their brains on them, just free write on them, could I come up with this really sticky message? And it worked. And that's what became the 3 word rebellion, which is all about creating a one of a kind message that really positions you in the industry as a category of one, but then allows other people to spread your message so that you can grow your business into a movement and really make a change and make a difference. But it starts with finding that core message, and then you can build all the other messages around it for your marketing. But yeah, what is that 3 word rebellion is always the question that I start with my clients.
Yeah, I love that. And I have been working on mine and working on mine. And I just realized I had said earlier it's 4, it's 5 because the word two is in it. So I got to bring it down, but I'm working on it. And
Excellent.
I think about it all the time. So I think it's great. So, both for the audience and selfishly for me, even though I listen to you, you're in my head a lot.
Yeah.
How do you get started in finding yours?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing to do is to use a process of free writing to find your 3 word rebellion. I know most business owners tend to be up in their heads most of the time. You think about your message, you think about your clients, you think about, oh, is this resonating? Is this not? And you can never find a message from this brain. Like it's up here somewhere, but this is not where it's going to be created.
Mhm.
So the first step is to get all of your ideas out of your head and onto paper where we can actually like look at them, deal with them, see if there's patterns, interesting turns of phrase. So how I do that is I have a set of questions that I talk about in the 3 word rebellion book that I have you just free write on, which is free writing is a process of just putting pen to paper or typing on a keyboard and you don't stop writing. So the 2 sets of questions that I ask people are the first that is all about like, what are you rebelling against? Like, what in your industry ticks you off, makes you roll your eyes, make you feel like, oh, I hate it when people say that. Write all of that down because that is the foil. It's also, for most of us, really easy to access the stuff that makes us a little annoyed or ticked off. And then the second set of questions is all about what is the change you want to create and
Mm.
allowing yourself to be in that place of being dreamy and what if and not worrying about the how to make it happen, right? Because I
Mhm.
think that's another place where we get stuck. It's like, yeah, I want to make this big change in my industry, but I can't put that down on paper because I don't know all the steps to make it happen. And it's like, that doesn't matter. Focus on the what if, like, what is that change you want to create? And don't worry about that how piece.
Mm. That's interesting. And I think, it's hard as business owners or as entrepreneurs to not get stuck in the weeds. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's hard, I think, and that might be some of even my issue, is it's hard for us to come up here and look at that big dream, that big picture, because
Yeah.
we're in it all the time.
Yes, and that's the thing I see with my expert business owners is that we're so in the weeds, right? We're so close to the message and the work that we do. And what's interesting to us about our work is not interesting to your potential client. I always tell my clients, like, your people want to benefit from your expertise. They don't want to be an expert themselves. And I find with a lot of experts, when they're communicating their message, they're focused on like the expert message and what that means as an expert versus like, no, what does that your expertise actually do for other people?
Yeah, I love that. We often say when we're talking about content for LinkedIn is stop sharing content that you want to consume and start sharing content your prospects want to consume. Otherwise, you're just going to attract your competitors.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
So I love that. I think that's brilliant. I love that. So, what is your definition of messaging, right? And what does it do generally for a business?
Looking to up your LinkedIn game? The Social Sales Link team has you covered with our LinkedIn Sales Accelerator, a guided social selling program that includes training, coaching, and so much more. Visit socialsaleslink.com/in for more details. Again, that's socialsaleslink.com/in.
Yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions about what messaging is. I swear I've heard it defined as like, it's a content plan, it's your I help statement, it's, oh gosh, what are some other things? Like, oh yeah, it's just your elevator pitch. And it's like, messaging is so much more than that. Messaging is literally everything your business says, whether it's in your marketing, in your copy, in your sales conversations, that attract people to your business, makes them raise their hand and say like, oh yeah, I want to know more, makes them realize that they have the problem you solve, dispels any misconceptions they have, and then makes the offer. And I think we get so focused that the message is such a small thing, but really it sits over your entire business and I don't want to say dictates, but tells you exactly what you need to say in order to convert strangers into clients. So it's not just this very small piece, it is a foundational piece of your business.
Would you say it's seeped in like a philosophy, or is your messaging like that overarching? Is it like how you want to show up in the world, what you want to look like, what you want people to feel when they
It's all of that. Yes. Yes, it's all of that. So for me, like what messaging looks like one of the first parts of messaging that I create with clients outside of your 3-word rebellion is we do a client empathy map, like really understanding the worldview of the person you want to be talking to. So what are they thinking, doing, feeling, seeing, hearing? What are they struggling with? What do they want? And understanding that and using that as a part of your message. But then you have your 3-word rebellion, which is the thing that catches their attention and makes them want to know more. But then once you have their attention, you have to know, okay, like what do I need to say? What are the arguments I need to make to move this person who just discovered me into becoming a client, into raising their hands and saying yes.
Yeah.
And so it's based in, and part of that is presenting your unique solution. That is very much a part of the messaging, your point of view, how you're different. So all of that is messaging. And I think sometimes it's such a huge topic that I think it blows people's minds when I talk about it this way.
I think most entrepreneurs just wing it. Like I don't do. Like I think, I mean, this is something, and I don't typically say this in the middle of a podcast. This is something that every single business owner and entrepreneur needs to do because, it's especially like I have some clients that have these ghostwriters. And so they're out there doing research and writing, and it doesn't match the website, and it doesn't match their LinkedIn profile, and it doesn't. And
Mhm.
that disconnect is really dangerous, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Because I've had that experience where I heard someone on a podcast and I was like, oh my gosh, this person's awesome. I'm going to go check them out. And then their website has nothing to do with what they talked about on the podcast, which means they did this PR, got this opportunity, and then squandered the opportunity because what they're talking about, in their
Doesn't
PR
lead to
efforts
business.
doesn't lead to business. And
Yeah.
people don't realize that that is a whole comprehensive strategy. And I think partially it's the industry is to blame because I realized I was doing some client research this year and I kind of realized, the biggest result, the first result my clients get is they get clarity and they get confidence in what they're going to say. And then that allows them to be more effective in their messaging, which allows them or in their marketing, which allows them to like fill up their client pipeline and then get opportunities to speak and be on podcasts. But in the industry, we start on the outside. We're like, oh, you've got to speak and be on podcasts and do guest blogging, and then that will fill your client pipeline. But if you don't know what to say,
Right.
a lot of those efforts just go to waste and you blow massive opportunities because you don't know how to take those people who just listen to you and actually make them want to work with you.
I love that. Okay, so now we've done this overarching umbrella of message perspective.
Yeah.
We've nailed our 3-word rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do?
Then it's about figuring out what your market strategy is, because you have a message and now the job is to amplify the message. So, what do you want your marketing strategy to look like? For your people, they're going to be on LinkedIn. So, they're probably going to need to do things like tweak their LinkedIn profile, create like a content strategy for what they're going to talk about and what offers that's leading to. So, you want to create that marketing strategy that helps you grow your audience, nurture and engage them so you can make offers. And then, obviously, like update the website so that everything is in line. So, really, then it becomes about creating these marketing assets that you can use again and again that allows you to be consistently on message.
I absolutely love that. Would you say that a good litmus test of this content is, does this support the 3-word rebellion? Everything you write, do we take that back to the 3 words?
Yeah. So one of the things that I do with clients is like we do your 3-word rebellion. I think I talk about this in either chapter 8 or 9 of the book. We take your 3-word rebellion, and then that serves as the free writing questions for creating your client decision journey, which is that bulk of your key messages that actually persuades people. So we start thinking about like, how do you define this? What layers? If it was a person, who would it be and why? So we can really get to that core essence and build out a complete message around your 3-word rebellion. So then everything, when you do that, everything is comprehensive and cohesive. So it leads very naturally from, just getting to know you all the way to the end of becoming a client.
Awesome. All right. Before I ask you how people can find you, I'm going to do something very, very selfish. I'm going to tell you where I am on mine.
Okay.
And maybe you can get me to the next. So I have converting LinkedIn connections to conversations. Very long.
Yes. Very long, very wordy. Converting LinkedIn connections to conversations. So for me, I would probably, especially since LinkedIn is trademarked to LinkedIn, I would want to drop that and probably put that in a supporting message. That would be my first thing. Like, you don't want to use other people's copyrighted terms or trademark terms in your 3-word rebellion.
Okay.
So I'm not a lawyer, but.
So how is converting connections to conversations?
It's still a little wordy. Like there's a lot of syllables in it,
right?
But it's closer.
Okay.
It's closer.
All right, I'll keep working on it.
I like the transformation aspect, connections to conversations. Like that's very clear before and after.
So maybe I take out converting and it's just connections to conversations.
Yeah, try it.
That's my 3-word rebellion. Connections to conversations. I love it. Oh my gosh, I could talk to you all day. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners want to stay connected or get connected to you. Other than must go get the book, The 3-Word Rebellion, or I mean, all my books are on audio. Must. And by the way, the stories are fun. Your inflection is wonderful. I am never, ever, ever bored. You've got me on the edge. It's just, I mean, it's just really, really well written. In addition to the value that comes from it, it's just fun. So I thank you for that very
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome.
And so I love that. So go get the book. How else can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can obviously connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Dr. Michelle Mazur there. I'm pretty much Dr. Michelle Mazur on all social media platforms, but LinkedIn is becoming my main social media squeeze, or at least that's what I'm transitioning into. And then you can always find me at my website, which is drmichellemazur.com. And if you're still not sure about this 3-word rebellion thing and you just want to try it out, I have a mini audio workshop that you can get at 3wordrebellion.com.
3wordrebellion.com. Couldn't get easier. Thank you. I knew this was going to be fun because you're just fun and enjoyable, but I really think this particular episode brings incredible value. So what I'm going to say, guys, is, do you have a hashtag that you use, like 3-word rebellion?
Yeah, hashtag 3-word rebellion. Yep.
So I'm going to throw out, if you are listening and you come up with your 3-word rebellion, use the hashtag 3-word rebellion, share it on LinkedIn, and tag me or get it in front of me because I want to see. And that's your hashtag. You'll see it. So that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So much fun. And for listeners, don't forget, when you are out and about, make sure that you are making your sales social.
Thanks for listening, and join us again for more special guest instructors bringing you marketing, sales training, and social selling strategies that will set you apart. Don't forget to subscribe to get the latest episodes from the Making Sales Social podcast. Leave a review down below. Tell us what you think, what you learned, and what you want to hear from us next. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. Visit our website, socialsaleslink.com, for more information.